beneath the ice, beneath the pine. An older rhythm keeps the time, drumming the earth, breath in the stone. This northern land is not alone. From tundra bare to cedar line, from prairie gold to granite spine, where northern lights in silence bend and winter never meets its end.
There's a body of water so vast it stops behaving like a lake, and more like the ocean itself. A place where ships vanish without a sound, and storms rise without warning on otherwise empty horizons. Along its northern shores, there's an old understanding. She doesn't give up her dead. According to the Anishinaabe, there's a name for what lives beneath the depths that's actually responsible. The Mishipeshu. You and your friend have been looking forward to this fishing trip for weeks. The forecast called for calm water and clear skies, and you've been lucky so far. A few decent-sized lake trout already sit in the cooler between you. Then the wind dies. Thin ribbons of fog start to creep across the surface of the lake, swallowing everything around you. It becomes so dense that the world is reduced to the boat groaning beneath your feet. You glance over at the compass mounted at the helm. The needle is spinning wildly, refusing to settle. Iron deposits buried deep beneath the lake bed are known to distort compasses out here. But still, watching it spin in the suffocating fog sends a cold weight settling into your chest. You glance toward the shoreline instinctively, searching for anything beyond the fog. Nothing. Just shifting walls of gray swallowing the world whole. Then your stomach drops. The boat is moving. This whole time, you've been drifting out further into the black water. Your friend seems to notice at the same moment and scrambles toward the side of the boat where the anchor line disappears beneath the surface, or where it should disappear. The rope hangs loose against the hull, frayed strands twisting in the water. It wasn't untied, it was severed. The boat rocks hard from what feels like a huge wave, creaking in protest. Wind whips through the fog, sharp enough to sting your face. The temperature drops so fast it steals the breath from your lungs. Waves slam against the hull from angles that make no sense. Then comes a sound. Not thunder, deeper. A long, resonant groan rolling up from beneath the water. You look over the side of the boat and freeze. You grip the cold metal rail hard enough for your knuckles to ache. Something huge is moving beneath the surface, a few feet from the boat. Lightning cracks overhead. Jagged ridges break through the surface first. They rise one after another along an enormous curved back, uneven and sharp like broken obsidian thrust through skin. The boat lurches violently sideways. Another flash of lightning splits the sky, brighter this time. The entire thing becomes visible for one impossible second. A colossal feline shape moving beneath the water. Its body rolls slowly beneath the surface, scales flashing dull copper and deep green beneath the stormlight. The muscles beneath them shift with horrifying smoothness. Far too large, far too powerful for the lake to contain naturally. The head surfaces next, water pouring from curved horns sweeping backward from its skull. Its face resembles a panther, elongated jaws lined with pale, hooked teeth, nostrils flaring slow clouds of mist into the freezing air. And the eyes, huge, golden, reflective like deep water catching moonlight. They lock onto the boat with terrifying intelligence. The creature drifts beside the vessel without effort, its enormous body moving with the lake instead of against it. Your heart leaps into your throat as one of its paws rises briefly above the surface. Webbing stretches beneath enormous clawed paws, thin black membranes flexing beneath the water. The claws scrape lightly against the hull with a sound like knives dragged across bone. You attempt to start the engine to get away. It sputters once, twice, and dies. Silence crashes over the ship instantly. No engine, only wind and water and this terrifying creature drifting beside you in the dark. Your friend whispers something under his breath, not a prayer, a realization, because you both understand the same thing at once. This thing did not find the ship by accident. It knew you were here long before you knew anything was beneath you. The creature's head tilts slowly upward, steadying. Its gaze passes across your friend before settling briefly on you. And in that moment, the fear changes. Because this is no longer the terror of being hunted. It's the cold, suffocating certainty that something ancient has already decided what happens to you next. Another deep sound vibrates upward through the hull, as if the lake was answering it. The water around the ship begins moving strangely now, rougher and circular. The ship jerks violently, fiberglass screams beneath your feet. Somewhere below deck, something ruptures with a deafening crack. You shout to hold on, but the words barely register. For one horrifying second, before the deck pitches sideways into darkness, you realize the stories were never warning people about storms. They were warning people about what controls them. The Mishipeshu isn't just a monster living in the lake. That's the way modern retellings tend to lean. In Anishinaabe traditions, Mishipeshu is something much older and far more powerful than a creature you simply spot in the water. It's tied directly to the deep places of the Great Lakes themselves, especially Superior. The storms, the currents, the feeling that the lake can turn on you without warning. And that's what makes it so unsettling. Because unlike a lot of modern cryptids, Mishipeshu isn't separated from its environment. It's fused to it. The lake isn't just where it lives, the lake behaves like it belongs to it. This connection extends even deeper with what lies beneath the water itself. The copper deposits and iron-rich stone running through the bedrock of the Great Lakes. It's the presence that holds both together. Mishipeshu is often described as an underwater panther, but its true name, Mishipeshu, directly translates to Great Lynx. But either way, that description feels too small once you understand what it represents. Its appearance really isn't the point. The power is. Stories describe it as capable of raising storms, overturning canoes, and dragging people beneath the surface. Not out of random cruelty, but because the deep water itself was never meant to be treated casually. Mishipeshu becomes a warning about respect and about understanding that nature, especially water this vast and unpredictable, is not something humans control simply because we can cross it. There are no stories about defeating it, no weapon capable of killing it, no ritual guaranteed to drive it away. That isn't really how the teachings work. Mishipeshu is too closely tied to the lake itself to be beaten in the way modern monster stories are. Instead, there are teachings about respect, offerings left before travel, tobacco placed near the shoreline, quiet acknowledgments made before stepping onto the water, because the lakes themselves are something alive in their own way. Stories have been passed down along the shores of the Great Lakes for generations, not as entertainment but as caution. In Ojibwe teachings, a few of these accounts are often retold because they show how closely action and consequence are tied, especially when it comes to the Great Lakes and what they hold. One of the best-known legends revolves around people taking from the lake without offering respect in return. 4 Ojibwe men spoke amongst themselves and their tribe of traveling to Mishipeshu Island. There they intended to gather copper to make better tools and heat their food faster. Although the island was known to be rich with copper, it was also understood that it required respect, as it was considered a sacred dwelling of the Mishipeshu itself. The men, although warned, went anyway. They arrived at the island, and all seemed to go to plan. As soon as they pushed their canoe away from shore afterwards, the water itself changed. The men began hearing sounds that didn't belong to the lake as they understood it. A voice carried across the water, low, surrounding them. As they paddled farther from the island, the presence grew stronger. It was described as something in the water and air all at once. The spirit is said to have hurled accusations at the men, claiming they had taken its children's toys. After the warning, the men continued on, ignoring the Mishipeshu. One by one, misfortune followed them on the journey back. None of the 4 men returned home safely. The account that survives is told through the words of the last to die, describing the journey not as a failure of travel, but as something that should have never been undertaken without permission or offering. But that's what happens when someone even makes it back to shore. Lake Superior has a long memory for the people who don't make it back. Across the Great Lakes, there's an old saying that she never gives up her dead. And unlike a few old wives' tales, this one is absolutely true. The water here is so cold that bodies don't decompose. Instead of resurfacing, many remain perfectly preserved in her depths. At the extreme cold temperatures year-round, the bacteria and microorganisms responsible for decomp and the bloating that would normally bring a body back to the surface simply can't thrive here. And people who spend enough time on Superior eventually come to understand that reality on a deeper level. Seasoned crews talk about the lake with a kind of respect that always borders on caution. The understanding that this is not water you ever fully master, no matter how many years you spend crossing it, fishing it, or diving beneath it. Superior will always be unpredictable. And when enough people experience the same unease out there, generation after generation, the line between folklore and understanding starts to blur. Maybe that's why stories about the Mishipeshu have carried on for so long. Not because every person on Superior believes there's a Great Lynx controlling its waters, but because the feeling behind the stories never truly disappeared. The fog still rolls in without warning. Compasses still drift over the iron-rich depths. Ships still vanish. And out there, surrounded by nothing but black water and an endless horizon, it becomes a little easier to believe something ancient lives below the surface. Next week, we leave the water behind because some dangers move differently, quietly above the tree line and over rooftops in places you thought were familiar. This has been What Lurks North. Stay safe out there.
Beneath the ice, beneath the pond, we walk their ground, they walk in